power of the human imagination. There is nothing as powerful, as capable of transforming itself and the planet as the human imagination. Let's not sell it straight. Let's not whore ourselves to nitwit ideologies. Let's not give our control over to the least among us. Rather, claim your place in the sun and go forward into the light. The tools are there. The path is known. You simply have to turn your back on a culture that has gone sterile and dead and get with the program of a living world and a re-empowerment of the imagination. Thank you very, very much. 100 years, as these super technologies have been developed in the West, the smashing of atoms, the invention of radio, television, computers, immunology, so forth and so on, data has been arriving about the practices of Aboriginal cultures all over the planet, that they dissolve ordinary realities, ordinary cultural values, through an interaction, a symbiosis, a relationship to local plants that perturb brain chemistry. And in this domain of perturbed brain chemistry, the cultural operating system is wiped clean. And something older, even for these people, something older, more vitalistic, more in touch with the animal soul, replaces it, replaces the cultural operating system, something not determined by history and geography, but something writ in the language of the flesh itself. This is who you are. This is true nakedness. You are not naked when you take off your clothes. You still wear your religious assumptions, your prejudices, your fears, your illusions, your delusions. When you shed the cultural operating system, then essentially you stand naked before the inspection of your own psyche. Desmond Morris called it the naked ape. And it's from that position, a position outside the cultural operating system, that we can begin to ask real questions about what does it mean to be human, what kind of circumstance are we caught in, and what kind of structures, if any, can we put in place to assuage the pain and accentuate the glory and the wonder that lurks waiting for us in this very narrow slice of time between the birth canal and the yawning grave. In other words, we have to return to first premises. So I've been thinking about this a lot, and at first it seemed to me only a metaphor, this phrase, culture is your operating system. But because I travel around a lot and get that jolting experience frequently of, let's say, leaving London on a foggy evening and arriving in Johannesburg 14 hours later to a sweltering day in a city of 14 million on the brink of anarchy, I get to change my operating system frequently. And so I notice the relativity of these systems. And some work for some things and some for others. For instance, if you are a positivist, if you're running Positivism 4.0, you can't support UFOs. Positivism 4.0 does not support UFOs. If, on the other hand, you're running Urantia Book 5.1 as your operating system, UFOs and a number of other things can get in through the door. That is what we would technically say is a more tolerant operating system, or its plug-in support special effects denied the positivist. Well, it's fun to think this way, because it shows you that you don't have to be the victim of your culture. It's not like your eye color or your height or your gender. It's fragile. It can be remade if you wish it to be. And then the question is, well, how does one download a new operating system? Well, first of all, you have to clear some space on your disk. The best way to do this is probably with a pharmacological agent. You think of some while I have a drink of water. Psilocybin is an excellent disk cleaner. You can put a lot of things in the trash and have them just disappear with a psilocybin upgrade. Other pharmacological agents that will clear your disk are ayahuasca. And of course, these are gentle clearings of the disk, which take 5, 6, 7 hours. If you're in a hurry to dump that old data and leap right into the new operating system, click on the button marked dimethyltryptamine. A compressed disk erasure will immediately be downloaded, unstuffed, bin-hexed, implemented, installed, run, and you will find yourself with an entirely different head. Now, shamans have always known, though they may not have used the kind of language I'm using here, shamans have always known this trick. What trick? It has two facets. First of all, that culture is an operating system. That's all it is. And that the operating system can be wiped out and replaced by something else. So, in essentially, what's going on among shamans and those who resort to them for curing and counseling and so forth is somebody's running a slightly more advanced operating system than the customer. The shaman is in possession of certain facts about plants, about animals, about healing, about human psychology, about the local geography, about mojo of many different sorts that the client is not aware of. The client is running culture light. The shaman paid for the registered and licensed version of the software and is running a much heavier version of the software than the client. I think we should all aspire to make this upgrade. It's very important that you have all the bells and whistles on your operating system. Otherwise, somebody is going to be able to get a leg up on you. Well, what's wrong with the operating system that we have? Consumer capitalism 5.0 or whatever it is. Well, it's dumb. It's retro. It's very non-competitive. It's messy. It wastes the environment. It wastes human resources. It's inefficient. It runs on stereotypes. It runs on a low sampling rate, which is what creates stereotypes. Low sample rates make everybody appear alike, when in fact the glory is in everyone's differences. And the current operating system is flawed. It actually has bugs in it that generate contradictions. Contradictions such as we're cutting the earth from beneath our own feet. We're poisoning the atmosphere that we breathe. This is not intelligent behavior. This is a culture with a bug in its operating system that's making it produce erratic, dysfunctional, malfunctional behavior. Time to call the tech. And who are the techs? The shamans are the techs.
Well, I'm a real computer tech, and if we're going to use the Earth, let's go back. If we're going to use the brain-mind operating system analogy, there are a few questions I'm going to have. People have asked me before, Kevin, should I upgrade? And I asked them, what do you do? Well, I surf the web a little, I read email. That's all. Well, are you having any problems? No. Is there something new you want to do? You want to work with some graphic software or something? No. Then why upgrade? Now, maybe that's not a satisfactory answer to somebody like a McKenna who would say, if you don't upgrade, you're being ignorant of all you could be doing. Maybe that's true. Maybe that's true. Let's call RD and see what he has to say about it.
Hey, man.
RD, did you happen to hear that last clip, buddy?
Was the didgeridoo as annoying for you as it was for me?
Yes, it was.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn. That doesn't help. I wonder, people that upload this talk, they got the clean talk, right? And they add this. Somebody adds this. Well, I think, what are they thinking? I mean...
You know, I've tried to figure that out myself on a lot of YouTube videos, and I think what it is they're fans of whoever it is they've downloaded, and they want to add their own personal touch, like rebrand it. I don't know. I don't know why people do that.
Well, it doesn't make it better, but to get back to your question about upgrading, I don't think you should upgrade if you don't necessarily need it. Mm-hmm. I don't really think that McKenna is... Well, he should have been more specific. I guess that what he should have said is that people that have a clear problem should upgrade, and the ones that are doing fine don't need it, right? I mean, if you're doing well, I mean, I've never used any psychedelics, and I still don't understand what he means. You know, I don't know. I can see a lot of talk is about this, so I can get why people think he's an advocate.
Yeah.
But he probably thinks that it would be... A lot of people could be better off if they got their culture stripped away from them. Because most people don't travel and don't talk to people in other countries.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I know people that live in the small town I live in that, at least back in high school, had no intentions of ever even traveling outside the county line. And if you can't get your mind exposed to some variety in culture, you're going to have a remarkably narrow view, no matter how correct that view is. But I think what he was saying was, as I think about it, he's saying that most of us need to have our operating system wiped out and rebuilt. But my only question there was there ever a time where he believes our operating system was correct? Was it the 1600s? Was it the year 800 AD? Was it cavemen? At what point would we consider ourselves, now we're up to date, now we're where we need to be? Because if we give up everything that capitalism offers, then we've given up the chance to excel as well, because excelling requires competition, and that is the nature of capitalism.
I think he considers the cleaning of your operating system as the upgrade.
Okay.
At least that makes more sense for me. It's more like a defragmentation, maybe, that you just look at what's again my ideas and what has been drilled into.
Are you still there, RD?
Yeah. Okay. I hope that truck didn't hit you.
Oh, yeah, that was loud. Sorry about that. The microphone picks up everything when I'm not talking.
Oh, well, that's a good... I did note a few things while I was listening to those two McKenna talks.
Mm-hmm.
One thing...
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say it's been hugely informative to me because I haven't listened to these talks before, and I don't understand the drug use thing, but let me just use my imagination and not judge here. What if we all tried whatever, DMT, TNT, ADT, all that, and it really did take us to a place of spiritual awakening, the way a shaman would want us to be taken to, and we could grasp some new concepts, new ideas, new understanding. I wonder how many people don't respond to it? Like they've had their operating system wiped, but they build right back up the same way they were before because culture continues to feed them information that builds their new structure.